Madubedube from Equal Education. Noncedo, I just wanted to dwell a little bit on the issue of proper infrastructure and sanitary facilities, of course, for the learners. I do know that Equal Education has always been fighting for the rights of learners, more so in the most rural areas. So the president, of course, last night touched a little on the number of schools that are still without proper infrastructure. And we know, of course, last year in August, he launched the SAFE campaign. Any developments there?
So from what we understand, not more than 16 schools have been attended to with regards to school sanitation. So the numbers he was claiming on there, we don't know about. And another reason that we can clearly, we're all baffled, okay? We're excited that there's a SAFE initiative and private sector is working with governments to talk to these issues. What we don't know is how we can speak to something and also hear reports on something that no plans have been put forward to anyone. For what we know, the last time we thought and talked and did anything around SAFE was at a launch in a hotel in Pretoria. And that's something that is of huge worry to us. Now, this is there's a contradiction because Angie Motshekga, together with the MEC of Education in Limpopo, had been given a court order with the Section 27 case that we're a friend of the court to as Equal Education, wanting some damage claims, but also structural renewal around policy post Michael Komape's death. And what's happened there is that they got a court order to say the Department of Limpopo needs to go into its schools and look for high-risk schools where there is either no water security or poor or very, very poor bad sanitation. And they've come back and said, look, we'll start working on this question around sanitation in 2026. Now, it's astoundingly ridiculous and just like ill-disciplined and disrespectful for the MEC together with Angie Motshekga to come out and say that when there's a whole policy around school infrastructure that says toilets are a priority and needed to, in all forms of sanitation actually, needed to be addressed by 2016. So they're already in breach of a policy for norms and standards for school infrastructure. But there isn't any, remorse or real plan and political will to do better. And that's why I worry with things like SONA, because it's like a good tune, but we worry about implementation and we worry about budget implications and we worry about so the president not doing a fair and good analysis of what's failed in the past, as opposed to building on promises and over projections of things being built, and especially with things around infrastructure and sanitation.
Yeah. And of course, another important issue is that of safety and security in schools. How do we improve safety in schools, Noncedo? I mean, taking into consideration the recent tragedy at Hoërskool in Vanderbijl Park.
So Equal Education's had a safety campaign for about 5 years now, and it's been working predominantly in the Western Cape. And one of our chief demands around that has been an interdepartmental or ministerial committee. So something that's going to bring in SAPs, something that's going to bring in community safety groups, something that brings in the Department of Social Development so that people can holistically look at the issue of school safety in South African schools. We've been met with lack of political will, a passing of the buck between the different departments, just no list for engagement from departments, both provincial and national. And what we've also come to realize through going into different forums and spaces that discuss these things, after we've put it on sort of the agenda, we've attended various symposiums, held by the Department of Education nationally. And we realized that the implementers of these types of policies, there's a framework, a national school safety framework, but people that are meant to implement on district level of schools and principals and school communities and SGBs have no idea what this framework is, and they have no idea how to implement it. So we also worry about making these bold, rash statements when we know there are issues on the ground and where the deliberate money and maybe even physical investment needs to go is into the school communities, into districts, to capacitate people to deal with these issues. Because school safety has like a social wage element to it. It happens to and from school, but it also happens inside school. So teachers are feeling burdened, tired, stressed, violated. Learners are feeling the same way from each other and from teachers. All of those things, we can't, could be better supported by the different departments, but also we can't run away from the fact that in the communities they take place in mostly, as a result or a spillover of the effects of what the community is going through as well. So it's very much a holistic type of approach and problem, and it needs a same or similar kind of strategy.
All right, we have to leave it at that, Noncedo. Thank you so much. Noncedo Madubedube is Equal Education's General Secretary, of course, giving her reaction to the State of the Nation address, most importantly focusing on issues related to the education sector. All right, we'll take a quick break here on SA Today. We'll see you at the top of the hour with more news.